Breaking news and the first cases of human-to-human transmission of the coronavirus.
Australia is tonight in uncharted territory. All mass gatherings are now banned in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic.
The unfolding coronavirus emergency. The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic with more than 118,000 cases across 114 countries.
As the bad news just keeps coming in, the spread of coronavirus in Australia.
A Myer employee and a worker at a second McDonald's have tested positive as Victoria records a spike on COVID-19 cases.
Save Our Scene set up a Parliament petition a couple of weeks ago, and they've had almost 16,000 signatures calling on the government to support Music Victoria's proposals to save and support the reopening of live music in Victoria. And it was the highest numbers of signatures ever with a petition that's been tabled in Parliament. So considering the Slam Rally 10 years ago was the largest cultural protest in Australia's history, this petition will end up being another sort of important, piece of history in Australia's music and advocacy career. Firstly, we really need to save the venues because we need to save the houses for people to live in, essentially. We need the artists to have places to return to work and for fans to come out and recongregate and, start the healing process and reuniting. I think one thing we've learned through the whole pandemic is whether it's football crowds or music crowds, it's just not quite the same without the crowds. It has a huge impact on the performers, whether they're sports people or artists, and incredible way of gelling community and bringing people together and feeling like you're all part of something. So the venues, the small venues, are where everyone starts out. And from my experience, it's still the best music experience is in a small venue when you're discovering an act that you haven't been told by a million people that they're the best thing in the world. You've discovered them, and then you connect with everyone else in the room who's discovered them. So they're very important from a punter's perspective. They're also extremely important from, it's basically, as Paul Kelly famously said, the universities. That's where every single band, it's the start of the export strategy. They all start there, they hone their craft, and then they build it up and they tour regionally and then around Australia, and then they're ready to be Courtney Barnett or King Gizzard overseas. So it's been estimated at $1.4 billion contribution to the economy each year, based on our live music census that we ran a couple of years ago. More people attend live music in just small venues than attend all of AFL games put together. So it's absolutely massive, and the difficulty has been that the small venues, you don't see people en masse going to the small venues like you see 100,000 people going to the MCG. So we've had to do a lot of work to actually gather that data and present that to government as the case for, it's a strong return on investment. So, if it's worth $1.4 billion a year and the government can save the venues, and that's just in the next 10 years, that's $14 billion. So what we're asking for is a drop in the ocean. Well, we have to be optimistic, and, speaking to festival owners and venues every week for the last 12 weeks, it's been just harrowing hearing what they're going through, the anxiety and the financial stress. So we've tried to be that beacon of hope that, we're taking their needs and we're taking them to the different levels of government, and government's been listening to some and they're still listening and having a long listen to some others. That understanding of we aren't the best in the world at that many things, Victoria. It's a very big world, but we are the best at live music. Because we have the largest number of venues and the most sort of diverse quality of music. They all know that, and it is something worth saving. However, there are a lot of industries that are in turmoil at the moment, and the government's got a few issues at the moment as well. So we just have to be patient. However, there are venues that will go under in the next 2-3 weeks if they don't get this support. So we've been making that pretty clear as well.